Welcome back to SmartWatch Ticks. As promised, we're going to do a detailed review of the RWATCH R11. Let's turn it on, see what happens. Nice. You have a little bit of chimes when it comes on, and immediately it attempts to connect to your phone if you've previously connected it. And of course, if you haven't, you just have to wait out this process while it tells you that it's attempting to connect. But once it's done, you're back to your basic watch function, and you can tap the button to turn it off and tap it to turn it back on again. When you actually press and hold, you turn the watch off, it says bye, and it gives you a nice little chime as it leaves. Well, let's dive right into this. This is the basic digital watch feature. I don't know if you noticed, but it got bright when it first is touched, and then it dims back down, and it stays for a period of time that you have specified in settings. That's kind of cool. If you want to go into an energy saving mode, though, it won't do that brightening up thing. It'll just stay at the dimmed version for you. So at nighttime, that might be handy. Let's swipe to the left and get into our display. We have circular apps now. They're all in a circle instead of in the rectangular box that they used to be in 2014, 2015 round watches. This is a nicer layout, and you have 3 pages of them. This is the first page, second page, and third page. We're going to go through all of these, but as promised, I wanted to highlight the special feature of this round watch, and basically the reason I got it is this infrared remote control, or IR blaster. Now, if you're familiar with on phones, some of them, the Samsung, LG, a few others, I believe, have the IR blaster, and they're set up in a way that once you bring the display up, you end up with something that sort of looks like this, and you have to hit the on button over and over again, pointed at the TV, and wait until the TV turns on. What it's basically doing is going through memory of most televisions, and when it hits the one that the power button works on, well, the up and down channel and volume controls are typically the same, and so you've basically set your phone for your TV, and you're all happy. Well, what if you don't want that? What if you want the power button to turn on your lights, for example, if you have remote control IR controller for your lights? Or let's say instead of channel changing, you want to change your input device, or you want to control the volume from your stereo rather than from your TV. Well, this particular watch surprised the heck out of me because it can do exactly that. It's a true programmable remote control. Now we're in the TV mode, and I already did program these buttons on and off for the TV, up and down for the volume from my stereo, and left and right do indeed change my inputs, all from 3 different remotes. How do you do that? Well, let me show you. Let's go back into the remote, and let's select reset the other. And now I'm back, and you see where it's flashing? Now let's move this over here, and let's grab a remote control. And you see that power button is flashing. I hit the power button on my remote, for example, and see it went solid, and now the plus button is blinking. Now let's say on this one I want to put the number 6. For whatever reason, I hit 6. And it's coded that one. Now I hit the number 0. And it coded the minus sign for that. Let's say I want 3D to be my right arrow. And now my left arrow, I could do flashback. Now these are bizarre buttons to have programmed, but they are programmed, and they're programmed in the other. So in essence, let's see what happens if I slide it. Yeah, good. I can go back. In essence, I have 5 buttons uniquely programmable for television, 5 buttons uniquely programmable for other. That is really cool. That's very sophisticated for a very inexpensive watch. and it all works out of the IR blaster. Okay, that's the basics. Now, that's what I really wanted to show you. The rest of it's pretty much like your regular tethered watch. Let's run through them. I have not connected this particular watch to anything, so it's just going to be an overview of how things would work if they're tethered. You have at the bottom stopwatch, which we showed before. You can touch the little round button here, and that activates the stopwatch and stops it. And you can, of course, reset it and do all those kind of things that you would do with a stopwatch. Look at that. I can activate it just simply by sliding. Sliding that way takes us back. Stopwatch. Music will be tethered music that will cause the music that's on your phone to play through your watch once you have it tethered. In this case, I have to go that way to get back. Your text messaging, when you tap on Android or iOS, you get a barcode. And you scan that barcode, and that's the app that you install. It's called the BT 4.0 app. And then your functionality will be there for it to work. This is your contacts list for your phone book. This is your phone log for all of your calls. Oops. If I swipe this way from the main screen, it attempts again to connect to your phone. So that's kind of a nice feature. However, if you accidentally do it, you kind of lose this time while it's doing that. So you want to swipe this direction. There's your basic phone pad. Again, the phone call will be placed from your watch. It'll be placed by entering it in your watch, but it'll be placed through your phone. It's using the SIM card in your phone. This does not have a standalone SIM card. This button is called App Download. Not sure if that just downloads what you have in the barcode itself, and that's when it's done, or that's an area that lets you download some specific additional apps for the watch. That would be really nice. If it does do that, I'll definitely make another video. My guess is all it is just a notification of this barcode so that you can install your app connectivity to the phone itself. And this one is for remote camera. Again, you get the same barcode. Just over and over again, you get that until you've installed it and it's connected. And then I'm presuming this goes away and you can actually use that feature. Page 1 with Bluetooth in the middle, where you have your Bluetooth sync. Or you go into the Bluetooth settings where you can turn it on or have this watch appear visible in the Bluetooth arena using the name that's listed down here, SmartWatch, it looks like is the name, and connect that way. So it's basically your overall Bluetooth connection capability. All right, that's page 1. Page 2, what looks like a calendar is not really. It's just a place you set your date and time and your time format. Okay, 12 hour, for example. Back and back again. Starting at the bottom, we have the clock faces. We've been looking at the digital clock face. You have one other choice. Da-da-da-da, big deal. You have an analog face. And here it is. Not too shabby. You have the date rather large at the top, the day of the week. You have the Bluetooth indicator. You have your battery charge level. And it's a digital watch cut off at the bottom, as most round watches are. Okay. Next, go to the settings icon. That's the next one. We're actually going to skip that and do that last because there's a few things I want to show you before we get there. Let's tap this one. That's your sleep monitor, where you can turn it on and off. Check what your sleep was like. Okay, on... They put a sample in, I guess, back on January 28th of 2016. I haven't used it yet, so I'm not sure what all these indicators are, but it said I had shallow sleep for 0 hours and 0 minutes. But this is the results when you test it. This is where you enable it. And you can clear your history here. Okay. What else we got? Sleep monitor moves into the power save mode. If we enable it, we won't have that bright flash and then the dimming and a few other things I imagine are going on there. Deactivated when I swiped it that way. This is your anti-lost. Again, if you're tethered to a phone and you've got your watch happening and they're connected, when you lose your Bluetooth, it will notify you. So if you've left your phone behind, you can find it. And it's deactivated for me right now. This is your different ringtones. Now these are, I don't know, these ringtones are really soft. It's in vibrate mode, which is what I leave it in because I can feel it vibrating. But let's go into the first ringtone and listen to it. I can barely hear it. I don't think that would get me awake. Whoops. Let's go ringtone 2. Try it. That's one failing for this watch to me, is that the ringtones are not loud enough. Ringtone 3 sounds like this. Okay, I'm going back to vibration. That works for me. Pedometer, your standard pedometer where you can do your step setting. How many inches are your steps? I mean, it's a little bit more sophisticated than the basic ones that you find on most of these tethered smartwatches. And you can set your weight, whatever your weight is, in 10-pound increments. And that will give you your pedometer reading. And we have this one here, which is a pseudo compass. By pseudo compass, I mean it doesn't really work that well. Now it's pointing this way, and the needle's pointing that way, and due east is that way. When I move it, I don't get much of a change. Like it grabs it and locks the setting? I'm not sure. Let's try it again over this way. You see how it's really not that responsive. So although they've put a compass on here, I wouldn't say it works, obviously. All right. That finishes up this first page. We've been all the way around the center. It's not a calendar, it's just where you set your date and time and your time format. That's what's used for that. All right, I'm going to also go back and change back to the digital because I wanted to show you on the digital face, unlike on the analog face, you do have a button where you can press and bring up your phone or press and bring up your messaging. And you get the time with the date and day of the week and fairly small down below. It does show your Bluetooth connectivity and your battery level as well on this particular face. There we go. That's the second page. And now the third page. We're on the one where you can set alarms. Add a repeating alarm if you want to it. You have a basic calculator that lets you do basic calculations. Really small numbers though. But the buttons are pretty good pacing, so you can actually touch them. We have a light bulb. When you tap the light bulb, that's how you set your LCD backlighting. Okay, they have a separate icon for that. This is also available in settings, as you'll see in a minute. You have the remote. We just talked about that one. You have this button, which is your Find Phone. I'm presuming the Find Phone is like the anti-lost. And this is where you bring up the barcode to download the app that needs to be in the phone in order for you to do that anti-loss linking. Very complex, huh? Okay. There's your heart rate monitor. We'll come back to that. There's your sedentary reminder, the reminder time in minutes, and that's basically just a repeating, looping countdown timer. That's what a sedentary reminder is. But if it gets you to stand up and walk around, it's done its job. This is your language section. Here are your languages. I'll scroll through them for you. If you don't see your language, I'd say it's not supported. And we want to be in English. And then this one is changing your units from metric to imperial, which is also available in the settings app. So they've given you a lot of extra buttons for individual settings that you don't really need. And I think we've covered everything here, except for the heart rate monitor. So let's go back to the settings and see here we have the Find Phone, which was an icon, the LCD backlight, which looked like the light bulb, and the unit setup. There's this other thing, raising Open Backlight. Enable, disable. I have no idea. Open, it will reduce, well, I think that's the one that makes it bright for just a second and then dims it. And then your About Watch, which is all our technical information for those of you wanting to see what versions of firmware and build date and all those kind of things are on there. We've got it all except for the heart rate monitor right there. On the back, there's the ports for the heart rate to be picked up. And when we tap it, it turns them on. Well, when we hit the play button. Okay, the green light is on. Now, when I did this before, I didn't get very good results. It's flashing, meaning it's attempting. It's still reading 0. I had a pulse of about 88 when it was really about 65. Oh, now it's coming up, 65. Okay, 63. That seems about right. What's nice about this one is it's constantly on while you have it on, and that's good to keep a monitor for it, but it's going to be hard on the battery life. It doesn't store it. It doesn't give you an average and freeze and say that's your average pulse rate. It just gives you that, and then it times out. It's still doing it. Look at that. All right, we'll hit stop. So that's the software. Now, we take a look around the watch and we see we've got the infrared port, a round dial that doesn't do anything. It pushes to turn things on and off and to go back to your main time. A speaker, a microphone, the USB port, which opens on this end. If you have fingernails. Well, trust me on that. You open that up and you can plug in your micro SD card to charge, or your USB port. This does not support micro SD cards. Your charging cable. The back has some screws. You could take the back off. If there's anything interesting in there, I'll let you know. It's got a genuine leather strap. And it appears that the strap could be replaced. I don't see the indicators for the antennas being in here, the Bluetooth antenna. So you got yourself a pretty decent gold colored, I think it comes in a couple of other colors, round, tethered watch with infrared capability and heart rate monitor, and at a very good price. So check online and see what it's going for, and I'd recommend this one. It's not too bad for a tethered watch, except for the alarm sounds. If you can do vibration, you're in business. We got another watch on order that's going to be another round watch that looks very promising. in the sense that it may be able to both do the tethering that we love with our phones and the ability to download regular apps from the App Store. So stand by, subscribe if you haven't yet, and hopefully we'll bring that to you very soon. In the meantime, bye.